Hello and welcome. Tabletop news, releases and upcoming projects abound, and I can't wait to tell you all about it, so join me for this week's Cult of the News. Dungeon Scrawler Heroes of Undermountain is the brand new announcement from WizKids, and it's a fully Dungeons and Dragons themed game that has you and your fellow adventurers drawing your way through 10 unique mazes created by the Mad Mage himself. Sounds pretty Fandelver to me. Fandelver. And what really caught my attention was that you will actually be drawing your route on your maps as you trace a puzzle-filled path, fighting monsters, casting spells, all while you try to collect artifacts and treasure. And there are different player abilities based on your class. Rogues are better at getting treasure, while barbarians have more skill with dealing with monsters, while wizards are better, casting spells and stuff. Fast casting a fireball in a narrow corridor sounds like a good idea, but then... I'm sorry, I'm being a bit harsh on wizards, but I am thinking about a former Total Party knockout that I've never forgiven and don't intend to. There are portals, locked doors, bosses and crucially time limits, and you're able to make over 100 3-maze combinations, so if dungeon delving your way through puzzling mazes looks like good family weight fun, then you look out for Dungeon Scrawler in October. This episode was made possible in part by Lethal Protector for the Versus System 2-player card game from Upper Deck. Build an all-new team of skillful and powerful symbiotes led by the original Sinister Spider himself, Venom, and this exciting issue of the Versus System 2-player card game kicks off the symbiote story arc by playing host, pun intended, the pun is always intended, to your favourite symbiotic aliens, allowing players to bond with them and wield their ultimate powers. And this set adds 3 new main characters and 9 new supporting characters, and it starts the 3rd story arc with 55 new cards. So follow the link in this video's description to find Lethal Protector at your friendly local game store or at upperdeckstore.com. If you still want more mysterious rooms to mosey on through, then floor plan Winchester Mansion might be what you're after. The original floor plan put you in the role of architects designing a house in a roll and write kind of way. And I like it as you try to fulfill client demands for points, but in this new Winchester Mansion version, the demands are going to be a bit more quirky. If you've never heard of the real Winchester Mansion, it's got like 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors and 40 staircases that mostly go nowhere, as well as lots of other mysteries to find. And you will continue the legacy by building on multiple stories of the house as you take on the new challenges and requirements, which I'm guessing will be quirky, as it is based on the real house. Deepwater Games have had a lot of success reinventing and invigorating Welcome to, the popular flip and fill game, which makes me confident that this new version of Floor Plan will be good. Also thematically, I'm big time into it. Let's be real. The next news is short and sweet, not unlike my favourite Watch It Played member and co-host. This Sasquatch in a can. Look at his little face! Kenner Spiel des Jahres winner Paleo, which I've now played and honestly was very pleasantly surprised by, is getting its first expansion. With Paleo, a new beginning. Several thousand years have passed, and in this new time there are new dangers and new tasks to take on, so with new tools and skills, you're going to have to face them if you want to settle down. Paleo is so ripe for expansions with its modular nature that uses different combinations of decks to play with and work through as you cooperatively try to complete the tasks at hand. So I wasn't surprised by this announcement, but gosh, I really was surprised by how much I enjoyed Paleo. I'm not normally a co-op type of guy. Ask anyone, I'm not a team player. It's going to be available at Essen this year with a wider release to follow. In the board gaming world, the Queen's Gambit is normally in reference to the hunt for the rarest of Star Wars games, and this news has nothing to do with that at all, but instead, the Queen's Gambit, the Netflix show about chess, which is getting a board game, which is about chess, but it's not chess. I'll be honest, the only thing I really know about this TV show is that my mum loved it. But in the game, you're going to be trying to outwit your fellow players by using the mighty power of the Force. Foresight. Pun intended. The pun is always intended. 2 to 4 players each have a gambit piece that moves across the chessboard, with the key being that your turns are planned out 3 moves in advance in an attempt to capture opposing pieces. And Mixlaw are bringing the Queen's Gambit, Das Damen Gambit, to the German market in October, so I'm guessing more releases sometime after that. Also, I can barely think one move ahead. I'm much better at living in the regretful hindsight kind of way, if I'm honest. Someone that is good at thinking ahead is George R.R. Martin, until he was then behind and everything turned out quirky. Fantasy Flight are bringing us a brand new game in the Game of Thrones world with a Game of Thrones Betwixt, which is awful fancy sounding, ain't it? In Betwixt, players are trying to gain control over the small councils of King's Landing, amassing power in 2 different ways, either gaining allies or gaining power. Tokens. So you'll use influence cards for their abilities while tussling between allies that you share with your neighbouring players. It's for 3 to 6 players, and that's literally everything we know about it so far. Another game that caught my eye was Settlement from iGames, where you are the leaders of settlers, which stands to reason, who are embarking on a newly discovered land. And with the help of powerful artifacts, you can explore, hunt monsters, build outposts and buildings as you collect diamonds and gold, entice heroes, and become the most famous settlement in all the land. My personal tip for becoming the most famous settlement in all the land, though, is to come up with dirty sounding town names for your town, like Intercourse, Pennsylvania. But you know, diamonds or names of famous heroes are good too. It's all about effectively managing your resources and settlers as you take turns building and activating your regions, streets and outposts as you build up to become the best settlement that ever got settled. It plays 1 to 4 players, looks pretty epic, and it has my attention for sure later this year. Okay, just for a slight change of pace for a hot second, Wizards of the Coast, the makers of Richard Garfield's Magic the Gathering, one of the most popular card games in the world, seems to be filing all the paperwork you'd need to file if you were going to start making Richard Garfield's Netrunner, the other most popular card game in all the world. It's a long history, but Wizards of the Coast owned Netrunner. Then Fantasy Flight got it and called it Android Netrunner. Then Fantasy Flight's license finished. Now it seems as though Wizards of the Coast may be implementing a digital version of the game, as the trademark was seemingly in the digital games category. You know, there's no way to know for sure what's going to happen with it, but gosh, if they do for Netrunner what they've done for Magic the Gathering with Arena, I'm going to be pretty happy about it. I'll tell you. Okay, I couldn't help but cover this next game because Dog Park for 1 to 4 players by Birdwood Games it's called Dog Park. It's got a little collie on the front of the box holding his lead because he's a good boy. Look at his little face. I'm so charmed by this box. You take on the role of dog walkers as you try to attract the dogs you want to walk by fulfilling their needs, like treats and toys, and successfully walking the dogs by keeping them happy and healthy and loved, gaining you the best reputation. The artwork looks just amazing and the whole game looks quite lovely. I want to know more about it, and Dog Park is coming to Kickstarter on September 14th, so go there if you want to know if this is going to be something that you might enjoy. And if that wasn't enough dogs, it's very rarely enough dogs, there's Dog Lover from AEG, which was announced for release in November. I love Cat Lady, I have the app, I played the hell Michigan out of it, and this looks like the dog counterpart slash sequel slash like same cinematic universe type thing. Players take turns drafting cards from a grid, but the cards you draft will depend on the trick card your dog can perform, which looks like a polyomino shape showing you what cards they can fetch. There's training cards to gather which you can spend to get new tricks, new ways to draft cards, as well as dogs to rescue, food to feed them, and different ways to score points. Cat Lady is a great, welcoming drafting game, and Dog Lover looks like a fantastic follow-up. Though interestingly, from a different designer. This is from David Short, who designed Ground Floor, Planes, and Automobiles. And I'm excited about this one quite a lot. And finally, we have Vagrantsong coming from Weird Miniatures towards the end of the year, which looks awesome. Vagrantsong is a cooperative and story-driven boss battling game where you will take on the role of a vagrant trapped on a supernatural ghost train. I mean, come on. That's pretty cool. In the game, you'll be facing off against ghosts lingering on the train, using your skills and junk acquired along the way to uncover the secrets of the Silver Ferryman. And after each scenario, players will have a moment to rest, allowing for opportunities to change out their skill and junk cards, heal their vagrant, and prepare for their next encounter aboard said Silver Ferryman. This is so up my street, it might as well be in my house. Only it's not, but I am looking forward to when it is, sometime in the future, actually. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.